Blessed be everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to do a video about what people are searching for when they search for the topic of witchcraft on Google and the kinds of things people want to know about witchcraft itself, because it might be surprising what people are searching out there when it comes to the craft. And this also means that if you are practicing witchcraft, these are the sorts of questions that people who don't know anything about witchcraft or are new to witchcraft may even be asking you to help them out with. So I thought I would start by doing a search in order of what's most common. And we'll get on to that, but before we do, I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com, author of Crafting Your Wiccan Path, and if you want to know more about Wicca and witchcraft, tarot, shadow work, magic, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. If you want to know where to start your witchcraft practice, but you're just not sure of, well, where's a good place to begin? And I know that there's, we work with the moon, and there's also Sabbats and there's deities. How do I do all of this? And pace yourself along the way. I have a free video called How to Start Your Witchcraft Practice. It goes for about 30 minutes or 40 minutes. It's not a hugely long one, and it will just give you a bit of a roadmap to know where to start and what you need to learn along the way. There's a link in the description field below this video. So when it comes to searching for what people are asking in regards to witchcraft or what topics people are searching for, I found it quite interesting because I would have thought that the very first topic or the very first thing people would have been searching for would have been to do with spell work. But the first one was actually Wicca. A lot of people are searching on Wicca, and I guess in the West, Wicca is pretty much more what the mainstream now know of witchcraft. It's sort of filtered into the mainstream. And so people who don't really know much about witchcraft seem to know a little bit, or at least they've heard the term Wicca, and often they'll refer to it as white witchcraft. I've had people do that a lot. So people are searching for Wicca, and which is interesting because Wicca is just one brand or genre of witchcraft. It's more of a Western form. It's been institutionalized in some places. It's not all institutionalized. People still have the choice to be either in more formal non-profit religions or to be just in local covens around the place, or even to be solitary and be Wiccan. I mean, that's something that's been around for a long time too. So you've got few different ways that you can practice Wicca. You don't have to belong to a church or a coven. You can be solitary, or you have the choices. So Wicca's a little bit more organized, I guess, than, say, more traditional forms of witchcraft, which are more about magic and more hands-on, more involved really with the earth-based creating magical change in the world. Wicca has that aspect of spiritual search in there too, or spiritual seekership, because of its influences from the Golden Dawn, from Aleister Crowley, from even spiritualism and the whole, even theosophy to some degree. I mean, it's got a Western history, so it's influenced by all of these Western aspects and things that were going on prior to Wicca sort of coming out into the world with Gerald Gardner. So that's one of the main things on the main topics that people are searching. So I'm going to put my glasses on so I can read what I've got here. And I don't know whether people are deliberately searching Wicca because that's all they know about witchcraft, or whether it's just simply they're attracted to it and they just want to know more about it, or they know somebody who practices Wicca and they just want to know more about it. The second thing was spell casting. So a lot of people are searching for spells for love, spells for money, and how to do the spells, using the spells, what are spells. So if you are a witch, if you haven't been a witch for long and you start to come out of the broom closet maybe and tell people, a lot of people are going to ask you about spells. They're going to ask you what magic is, how does it work, what are the ethics behind spell casting, and all of those things. So it's very, very strongly researched on Google, spell casting. So that's something that a lot of people will probably ask you questions about. So it's not surprising that it's number 2 on the list. Number 3 is witchcraft for beginners. There's obviously a lot of beginner witches out there, and this channel pretty much caters to a lot of people who are beginners, because there are a lot of beginners out there. And I've found, even for myself, that when you do practice the craft over a long period of time, there really isn't much more to know. It's more a case of practicing and exploring yourself really along the way, and building a practice, a regular practice, to connect you to yourself, to nature, and to your spirit. So, but a lot of people are looking at it for beginners. So there's a lot of interest in witchcraft. It seems to be growing in interest and growing in attraction. But that's just witchcraft in general. So that could be all witchcraft across the board. The other one, number 4, is Herbal Magick. So 4 is Herbal Magick. So herbs are very, very popular, and we use them a lot in spellcrafting. And a lot of the time we might want to know, well, what can I do with the herbs that I may already have in the cupboard that I might use in cooking? How can I use them in magic? If I want to do some magic, what herbs do I use? Because herbs are traditionally used in folk magic and earth-based magic. Number 5 was crystals and gemstones. So that's something else that people who are interested in witchcraft or wanting to connect crystals and gemstones to the practice of the craft. So you've got an interest there and a curiosity about what gemstones work with what spells. If I want a love spell, what gemstone would I work with? Maybe you've got some gemstones there and you may know what they are, and you're just wanting to know how you can use them because you already have them on hand. And so there's a lot of research going on about gemstones, which is wonderful because I love working with gemstones. Next up is divination. A lot of people are looking for information on tarot, particularly. Probably the most popular is tarot. Palmistry. Other forms of divination, such as scrying, for example, all associated with witchcraft. When I first came to the craft, I really did associate tarot cards and palmistry to witches. I didn't really understand how a lot of the people who were reading at the time actually were more spiritualists, and I didn't really know a lot about spiritualism or what spiritualism was. And I was looking really for somebody who did divination who was actually in witchcraft, and it was really hard to find. But these days a lot of witches do tarot readings. I do tarot coaching, for example, so if you want to book a tarot coaching session, you can do that with me. There's a link in the description field below this video. And I also teach tarot. I teach a course in tarot, the Confident Tarot Reader. So if you want to learn how to read tarot confidently using your intuition and your knowledge, there's a link in the description field below this video about how you can learn tarot with me and to become a Confident Tarot Reader. So divination is on the list there too, but it is down to, I think, a number 6. Candle magic specifically is popular. I think candle magic is beautiful magic. There's nothing more, I don't know, that gets you into the mood of feeling witchy and feeling into the magic when you're doing things by candlelight. It's a very magical feeling, that dim light. The dimness of working with candles can help put you more in touch with your subconscious mind too. It helps get you more into that meditative state. And when we're in the darkness or semi-darkness, we actually do become more introspective and we become more focused, even just psychologically. It helps settle us down. It changes our brain chemistry. So candle magic has an effect on us psychologically as well as energetically. And it's a really fun way of working with magic, and a very accessible way for a lot of people to work with magic. I do understand that there are people who can't use candles in their living conditions, And so that's unfortunate because it really is a fun type of magic to do. So people may ask you questions about candle magic. Number 8 was paganism. So that's paganism in general. So what is paganism? Being interested in other types of paganism. Witchcraft is a type of paganism. Wicca is a type of paganism. So is Druidry or Druidism, heathenism. All of those are under the banner of pagan. So pagan essentially is anything that's not Abrahamic. So you could, in the broader context, it's anything that's not Abrahamic. So that can also include Hinduism and Buddhism in there as well. But we tend to think of paganism as neo-paganism, which in the West is the Western styles of paganism, such as Wicca, Druidism, heathenism, examples like that. Next, people are searching for witchcraft tools. So these are, what do you do with an athame? Where do I buy one? The wand, what do witches do with a wand? Where do I get a wand? Why do I need a wand? The cup, the chalice, and the pentacle. The tools, the broom, the besom. A lot of us like to have tools because we connect with tools as a way of connecting in the real world, or the tangible world, so-called tangible world, bringing the intent and that desire to connect to what appears to be intangible through something that is tangible. It's just the way we tend to work here, even though we don't need the tools. The tools can be a wonderful psychological help, and also just energetically can connect us to our feeling of being in the craft, our feeling of what it is that we can do with energy through working with our tools, and what they symbolize also connects us to our practice. So there's a bit of research going on there for people. I think a lot of it is probably to do with where do you buy them, because they're not easy to buy. Often you do have to buy them online. People are interested in the moon phases, so the phases of the moon and what that means. So how do you work with the moon in rituals and spells? And way down on the list is witchcraft history. So it's not, history's kind of gone down a lot over the time. People are interested in the history, but I think we know a fair bit about the history, at least of witchcraft in the West, that we don't necessarily want to really be exploring it too much because it's quite horrible, really. But it's pretty low on the list of what people are searching when it comes to the craft. Next, people are searching protection and banishing. Then there's folk magic. You know, what is folk magic? And other various types of folk magic, for example, like hoodoo, for example. Then there's people looking for witchcraft communities, so looking for covens or looking for places where they can get together with other people of like mind, which you can do at the Mystery Witch School. We're online, we're an online coven, but we do get together where it's a training coven essentially, so it's more of like a training sort of institution. It's a school essentially for training, but it's quite eclectic. And you do get together with like-minded people, and you can communicate with other people from all around the world through joining the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy, because we do get together over Zoom twice a month to work with the moon and the lunar energies and do guided meditations. So that's something that you can also do online these days, because it's not easy to find a local community. I would have thought more people were searching for covens and searching for communities, but it's pretty low down on the list. People are also investigating the gods and goddesses. There's a lot of people investigating those. Witchcraft in pop culture, so how witchcraft is portrayed in movies and television. And a lot of the time it's not favourably portrayed. And even if it is favourably portrayed, I still find that it's still not overly serious. It's like believing in magic is always put out there as being something that somehow you just can't take seriously because it's not real. And I've never really felt anything has really helped, really respected witchcraft beliefs, even if they're trying to. And last but not least, kitchen witchery. There's a lot of people interested in kitchen witchery, which is basically pretty traditional witchcraft in a way, because it's working with herbs, working with cooking and using witchcraft and magic in the kitchen, and the things that you make and that you bring into the world through your cooking. A lot of your potions and charms and things we made in the kitchen. A lot of kitchen witches use their athames for chopping up the herbs, whereas say Wiccans, for example, won't use an athame to chop anything except like air. It's a tool that cuts through air, it doesn't cut through anything physical. Whereas kitchen witches will use their athame as just part of the cooking and everything, because it's a part of bringing the craft and bringing the magic into the body, into everyday life, really. So that's another interesting thing that people were searching on as well. So they were the main things that I found that people were looking for. It's possibly what people might ask you about. People may have heard, you know, what's a green witch, what's a kitchen witch, what's the difference, that kind of thing. There's lots of different types of witch out there now, so it's hard to keep up with all of the new ones that come along by the day. It's interesting what people are searching though, and I enjoyed looking at what people wanted to know. I was surprised that Wicca was at the top, but people obviously are still interested in at least learning about what Wicca is anyway, and maybe Wicca as opposed to, say, traditional witchcraft and how it may vary from that. And I've got videos about the difference between Wicca and witchcraft too on my YouTube channel. So as I said earlier, if you do want to learn witchcraft, Wicca, or Wiccan form of witchcraft with me, very eclectic form of Wicca, so it's really just the basics of Wicca. So working with the lunar energies, working with Sabbats, working with your energy, doing energy work, working with magic, of course, candle magic particularly, and getting to know yourself more. So there's a little bit of shadow work there, but it's shadow work as in trying to get to know who you are in a positive way, not in a negative self-depreciating way that shadow work sometimes is promoted as. Take a look at the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy. There's a link in the description field below this video. It will help you connect to yourself, to nature, and to your divine connection to all and everything, the deities included. So if you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I am Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.